Lori's pageantry has begun. Just the quick few-second clip here really shows that action speaks louder than words. Actions of a woman who really doesn't care about anyone except for herself. Something that Lori Vallow Daybell has been showing us since the beginning of this horrific tragedy, where 4 innocent lives were taken at the hands of pure evil, all for lust, greed, and money. Lori used her religion as her excuse. This past week, Judge Boyce granted the motion to remove the death penalty from Lori's case, and I'd really love to hear your thoughts on that below. Lay it all out on me. While Lori smirks her way through this, the victims' families are torn further apart, if that was even possible. Kay and Larry Woodcock, JJ Vallow's grandparents, spoke out about it, and it is nothing short of heart-shattering. You can see it visibly on them, and you can have a listen. Here's what Kay had to say first.
Today's news was from left field. We had no idea that he was going to dismiss the death penalty from her. We're just reeling from the news, and it's been a very long, hard day, but it is what it is. We're on a roller coaster. We've been on a roller coaster for going on 4 years now. And so, again, the ride continues whether or not we like it. Lori, maybe she wasn't there when Alex killed everybody, but she conspired, Chad conspired, and it was like she did it with her own hands. She killed everybody. Tammy, JJ, and Tylee, all 3. She was involved in, just like she was involved in the conspiracy to murder Charles. But we're going to put that aside till after she's done in Idaho. Then hopefully they'll get her down in Arizona and take care of her there too.
Then it was time for Larry to speak, and here's what he said, and pay particular attention to what he says about the judge.
You know, this boils down, Ashley, to people were murdered. I lost a grandson. I lost a granddaughter. I lost a brother-in-law. And God, I pray for everybody every night involved in this case. Tammy was a tragedy. All of these murders are just totally unjustified. I've had a horrible day today. We woke up to this morning. My day has been troublesome all throughout the day. There has been nobody more supportive of Boyce than I have. And I'm going to state this right now. I know I no longer consider Boyce a judge. From this point on, I will not refer to him as a judge. This is my belief now. I think he has made bad calls. Do I think there may have been some things that could have been done different? Yeah, I do. This ruling that he handed out today is an insult to JJ. It's an insult to Tylee. It's an insult to Charles. And it's an insult to Tammy. It's a slap in the face to our family. And I think this ruling should do an interlocutory appeal tomorrow. I think the fact that Judge Boyce is not allowing cameras in this court, I have said it before, is wrong. If they allow cameras in the Supreme Court down to the traffic court, then why isn't he allowing cameras in the courts now? Is it because he's getting pressured? If so, who is he getting pressured by? Is this being pressured from the church? Is this being pressured? I don't think it's from the state. And I am telling you, I'm on TV right now asking Mr. Attorney General of Idaho, please review these rulings. Mr. Supreme Court Justices and Mrs. Supreme Court Justices, please review this. And whoever nominated Boyce at this point to be a judge or to get down on his knees and ask forgiveness. Am I mad? I am beyond mad. Am I upset? You better believe I'm upset. This is
Larry.
wrong.
Now remember, the victims' families have to now endure not one 10-week trial, but two. And possibly the second not until the end of this year. And then they find out that the death penalty is off the table. And the kids still haven't been laid to rest. And by the fall, it will be 4 full years. Ask JJ and Tylee and Charles and Tammy if this is okay. After this trial is complete, Lori will have to face her other charges in Charles's case. Now remember Lori's blue-eyed baby boy, as she called him, Mark Means, her previous attorney, the one that got disqualified? You know, where she also was flirtatious with him in court? He responded to Ashley Bamfield's video tweet of Larry and Kay. He said, "Hence, pretend sanction by the court directed towards the state. Judge has handed the state map along the yellow brick road for a conviction." Well, I guess we're off to see the wizard. Lori's acting like this is a win, and to her it is. Much like the day Charles Vallow, her fourth husband, was murdered, and she looked like she won the lottery, smiling away because she thought she'd be $1 million richer from his death, or I should say murder. Little did she know that Charles didn't have her as a beneficiary. Then Lori had a hissy fit when she found out, and the rest of the family had to go. And that came along with a handy little chart made, what I call the hit list. Now, I had a comment a few weeks ago that I screenshotted from a faithful viewer that really summed up what's about to happen in this upcoming trial from Lori's point of view. I'll share that in just a minute. But Judge Boyce's reason for granting his motion to remove the death penalty was to ensure the rights of the defendant to a fair trial are protected. Remember, Lori did not waive her right to a speedy trial, and there's been issues with getting all the discovery to the defense from the prosecution. Also, the removal of the death penalty only applies to Lori's case, not Chad Daybell's, Lori's fifth husband, who's also on trial. We don't know when Chad's trial is, though, as his case was severed from Lori's a month ago. Stay tuned for that. Now, in the hearing, the judge talked about two choices: dismissing the case or removing the death penalty. He said that dismissing it was too severe of a sanction, as he believes that the prosecution hasn't acted in bad faith due to having these issues of getting all the discovery to the defense, but the judge does believe sanctions should be imposed. It was a really interesting hearing, and it left a lot of people confused, myself included. The judge said, "The court does not impose this sanction to penalize the state, but to ensure that the constitutional right of the defendant is protected to allow for her reasonable defense to prepare for this trial." Now, I'm very curious about Lori's intentions to stay strong and keep the trial coming sooner than later, not waiving her right. I wonder what she's not wanting to come out. Probably a lot more than we think, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? Let me know below. Also, during the hearing, Judge Boyce ordered the prosecution to turn all over written and recorded statements made by Chad Daybell while in custody. Also, it said that there are 100 hours of recordings of Lori and Chad in jail recorded calls. And the judge also said, quote, "I would caution the defendant by insisting on going forward for the trial now, knowing there's additional evidence that they are not presented to address, is a risk. The decision to continue forward without a continuance is a decision only the defendant, with the competent advice of her counsel, can make." Why does Lori get so many chances in her entire life, it seems, in court too? And she ain't no unicorn. Here's the comment that I mentioned that I received a little bit ago from a viewer, and it says, "I'm interested to see what Lori has chosen for the evening gown portion of the trial. I wonder what she is going to do for the talent segment." Now, in any other case, that comment probably would be odd and probably wouldn't apply, but in this case, it's bang frickin' on. Don't you think? How many of you out there are actually nodding your head in agreement? This is what Lori's treating it like, a pageant. Her days back in her beauty, fitness pageants, and Wheel of Fortune. She was on Wheel of Fortune in case you didn't know or may have forgotten. And let's think about this. Lori laughs when Charles is killed and is just so happy her own children are killed, and Lori's laughing it up, buying wedding attire on Charles's credit card, while Chad's wife at the time, Tammy, is still married to him and very much alive. Then Tammy dies and they jet set off to Hawaii 2 weeks after Tammy's death and have a grand old time while her children are buried in the backyard. Oh, and Lori is collecting benefits for her children who were murdered. Where are the kids, Lori? You don't seem to care where they are. I feel like keep laughing it up, Lori, because I hope we have the last laugh. Enough is enough. And talking about attire, here's what really is interesting to me. You know the first clip that I showed you of Lori walking out of the courthouse? Look what she's wearing. This is not normal for Lori. Lori usually wears baby blue, light pastel colors. Always in court we've seen this. We've seen this many times. I've predicted many times what she'll wear in court, and usually it happens. But this, on this day, Lori wears all black. It's interesting, isn't it? Is it like Chad Daybell's murderous red tie he always wears and that I hate? Why black that day? The symbol for death? She wants sympathy? What is this all about? Let me know your thoughts below. Now, the prosecution had something to say about the death penalty. Rob Wood and Lindsay Blake issued a joint statement saying, "While we are disappointed and respectfully disagree with today's decision, we will continue to vigorously pursue justice for Tammy, Tylee, and JJ." Now, Lori was scheduled to be transported to the Ada County no later than March 25th, but as of the time of this recording, I saw Lori's jail mugshot today. So she's been transported to Ada County. Take a look at her mugshot. Now, potential jurors will complete a questionnaire at the courthouse on March 27th and 28th. I'm digging into that. And that's before jury selection begins on April 3rd. I hope that the prosecution, whatever they have, is airtight, because there's been so much ridiculousness around this case. I've outed over 150 videos on their sneaky, conspiring actions. This has to end in a conviction. My concern at this point, and what comes up for me, is jury bias. If this smiley, smirky, giggly woman in court is chuckling it up over a good time and does her makeup, not to mention maybe not her jail makeup, but her actual makeup and hair, and is all prettied up for her pageant, she does have the evening gown round and her talent, will the jury see her as an attractive, super nice, jovial mom who couldn't have done this and just got herself in a little predicament and she's just innocent? Or will they see through her BS? Hopefully the evidence will show that. Her mom certainly sees through her BS and has stated it. Stay tuned for more crap from Lori. We know it's coming. And stay tuned for what happens in court. I will be following it. Unfortunately, no cameras are allowed, which is a darn shame. Let me know what you want to see next in this, and we'll dive into it. Check out my most important videos on the case right here, and the entire 150 plus videos right here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.